Hey guys, this is T-Strife Games on T-Strife Talks, and I'm going to be talking about how do juggle motherhood, gaming, and especially uploading to YouTube. Well, it's not easy. You just have to have a lot of patience with yourself, a lot of patience with your life as it is, especially with it being a mom. And just take one day at a time, I mean, it's like if I don't make it, like, it's not the end of the world if I don't make it on one of my upload days, It's like I'm learning to just be like, okay, I can't upload this day. That doesn't mean it ruins my channel. Doesn't mean that it's so bad, I can just next upload day, I can get right back on track. And I'm learning to give myself grace and understanding. And I'm learning how to be a mom. This is my first kid, and she's a toughie. I guess everybody might say that for their first kid, but it's pretty intense. She's a strong-willed kid for sure. So how I do it now with uploading for my YouTube is that it's every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm trying to juggle this between my husband working 4 days of 12-hour shifts too. So and he gets 4 days off luckily, so I can really catch up if I have fallen behind in recording. But I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do my normal routine with my baby girl and get things done around the house, and then as soon as she goes to bed, I'm either quickly eating something or taking a short breather, and then usually hopping on and recording, and then staying up maybe till 1 a.m. trying to upload it onto YouTube with proper description and tags and all that stuff. But yeah, and I even with it being kind of like, I'm losing sleep over this, but it's like, it's just fun and I'm enjoying it. I think my main challenge lately with doing YouTube has been not to obsess over it. Not because if I obsess over it, then it becomes not fun and it doesn't become rejuvenating like I want it to. And so I've been trying to make sure I'm not checking YouTube every day to see what views or subscribers I have, or like, oh, comments, I need to comment back as soon as somebody comments. And so you just gotta pull back on that a bit, especially starting out, and be like, yeah, if this becomes a thing, it's gonna become a thing, and people will like me for me and your personality, my personality. I think I'm pretty boring, but hey, if somebody really enjoys it or finds me calming, I've had people comment that I'm calming, and I mean, if they just enjoy it, then sure, people are gonna follow you if they enjoy your stuff. You can do all sorts of editing and all sorts of fancy stuff to, present your content, but really what it boils down to for like the gaming niche is really just being yourself. Being somebody that's enjoyable to hang out with, to chill to some background noise of, of a game, shooter, anything, and just talk about random topics, talk about yourself, be you. And I think it's interesting for me because I've suffered depression a lot of my life, and I'm like, I don't know who I am. And so it's kind of been like a little bit of self-discovery too, because my personality comes out a little bit more when I'm playing games or doing stuff I really like, because and it's enjoyable. It's fun to learn about myself and and even go back and watch videos and see like, oh, that's how I reacted to this. What? Yeah. Maybe that, I don't know, that's kind of weird, I guess, but hey, it can be therapeutic. A lot of people find art therapeutic, you know. And there's a lot of different outlets for it, lots of different ways of finding yourself. And you just need to find what works for you. There was a time after having my daughter that I just didn't do anything. I did nothing for myself because I had I tried breastfeeding, no go. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to pump the entire, first year for her to make sure that she's getting the best nourishment ever. And I would just be exhausted. My cycle for the day was get up, feed her, breast pump. And then by the time I was almost done with that, and it'd be like the next feeding session 2 hours later. I had no time for sleep. I had nothing. No time for anything, really, except just feeding kid, breast pumping, maybe doing some dishes or some chores really quick, and that's it. And I got really depressed. I stopped enjoying things, and I just like, well, no, there's no point in gaming. There's no point in any of this. This is, there's no point in reading. There's no point in just writing like I used to in my spare time, because it doesn't help the situation. It doesn't help my child. It doesn't help my husband, I was like, I don't have time for it. Well, you kind of have to make time for it, because I'm kind of at a point in my life where I don't know how to enjoy things just for the sake of enjoyment anymore. I really have a hard time just sitting down and being like, yeah, I'm going to do this for myself. It's totally fun. It's great. I don't need any sort of other, motivation. It's just to recoup for myself. Well, I usually get tons of guilt that follows it afterwards. Like, I wasted my time. I did all this other stuff, and it didn't help do dishes. It didn't help do laundry, and I just am a lazy piece of garbage. Yeah, that's not healthy, and that's not okay. And I'm learning that it's not okay, and I'm learning to enjoy things. And part of why I started YouTube was to actually just get myself out of a funk and do something for fun and get back into my gaming and try. And hey, if I can entertain people along my gaming journey and getting back to me enjoying things, that's awesome. And that's why I was like, yeah, I can upload too. And it's a little bit extra motivation to help me along, but I've been really happy just to dive back into my games and enjoy it, and have some fun and laugh. I mean, heck, my Dead Space 2 Let's Play, I was laughing, I was having fun, and I'm like, yeah, this is great. And it's been a while since I've really just had that. Another big thing I'm learning and trying to accept is just less judgment on myself too. I mean, like, just because you're a mom, don't feel bad about still being yourself. I mean, it's like, I think the big thing is about this whole thing of growing up. Some people say, oh, you have a kid, you have kids, you need to grow up. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean to grow up? I think it means that you learn what it means to have that sacrificial love for your kid. That sacrifice happens as a mom. You sacrifice your time and your emotions and everything for your kid. You make sure your kid's needs are met first, but that doesn't mean that once you have the peace when they go to bed at night or have a nap during the day, that doesn't mean you just stop liking and stop doing what you like. So it's like, I like gaming in my spare time. It's like, if I like reading in my spare time. Is that a waste? No, because it's me, and it's time for myself to rejuvenate. I can't run on empty. So, and you shouldn't be expected to. Yes, I'm a mom, but that doesn't mean I'm not Michelle anymore. That doesn't mean I'm not myself anymore. Mom is my job title. Mom is a descriptive word of me. but I was myself before I was a mom. That doesn't mean like, oh, you ignore your kids' needs and like, oh, screw it and all that stuff. You know what you at least should know what you're getting into when you plan for a kid. But even unplanned, I mean, you know what you're getting into. And so you just learn to juggle it. You learn that it's okay to have off days. It's okay to have good days. It's okay to have productive or unproductive days, and just days and nights when you just want to cry yourself to sleep. And that's okay. And it's all right. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you. And if it's constant, where I had postpartum depression pretty bad after having my daughter, and if it's constant, then sure, you gotta reach out and you gotta get help, which I eventually did. But there's just some days that you're gonna cry and wonder, what in the world am I doing as a mom? But hey, we've all been there, and it's just learning. It's anything new in our lives, we have to learn and try to understand and figure out. And as we grow older, it's just a learning process, you know. We never stop learning, no matter what, no matter where we're at in our lives, and that's a good thing. Even with all like the really hard days, or there's some days where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore, you know. It's like this motherhood stuff, what is going on? How can I get away from it? But I have to pull back, and I have to look at her, and I look at my little baby girl, and I'm like, I love her so much, and she's a blessing in my life. And yeah, it's hard being a mom, but I mean, it's so worth it. And it almost seems backwards, I guess, because you're like, oh, I'm sacrificing so much of myself for this little being that isn't showing any sort of gratitude. But she shows it with unconditional love, and she's a darling. Never forget the blessing that your little boy or girl is in your life. Never forget the little smiles and the laughs that they give us. And just hang on to them. Keep going. And just be yourself wherever you can. And give yourself a lot of grace. And give your little boy and girl grace too. They're learning just as much as you. So just take each opportunity and work at it. But don't forget about yourself either. Don't forget what makes you happy or geek out and feel bad about liking that still, as you're trying to juggle motherhood, you know, and a job and things like that. It's like, don't feel bad or like feel like it's childish to game, to read little kids books. I still read like young adult fiction and even some kids children's books. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that. It helps us recoup, helps us regenerate, and helps us keep going, and helps us be a better mom too. Because when we're at our best, we can be our best as a mom. And that's what matters.